A princess was born one fine spring day in a land over the hills and far away. The king and the queen had been waiting so long. When the baby was born, the kingdom filled with song. Two kind fairies were invited by the king, their blessings to give and their wishes to bring. One said, "Little princess, may you always be kind," and the other gave her great beauty and a sharp mind. But there was another fairy who had come on her own. She had not been invited, so she stood there alone. "Why didn't you invite me?" she said. "That's not nice. In 16 years, you will pay the price." On her 16th birthday, the fairy said with a grin, she will prick her finger on a needle or a pin. It won't hurt at all. She won't shed any tears, but she will fall asleep for 100 years. The king called all of his servants that day to search every room in the castle right away. Let there be no needle, no pin, and no tack. Search the castle through and through, from front to back. The servants worked hard late into the night. They threw away every needle in sight. So the princess grew up year after year, with no needle in sight, without any fear. And on the day she turned 16, she had a big party with the king and the queen. The kingdom was happy, and the party went on. They all celebrated from dusk till dawn. The king was still worried, and he looked all around, but not one single needle or pin could be found. The castle was so crowded, with many people there. The princess went outside to get some fresh air. She saw an old lady wearing a hat of red, sitting quietly and holding a needle and thread. "What is that?" said the princess.
"Tap the record button beside me to record my voice."
The old lady said, "Come look at me and see how I sew. I'm making a dress for the queen," she said, and showed the princess her cloth, the needle, and thread. The princess was curious. She asked, "Can I see?" The old lady said, "But of course, sit by me." The princess reached out, but her hand was too quick. Her finger touched the needle. It was just a little prick. Her eyes closed, and she immediately fell to the earth. It was the evil fairy who had cast the spell on her birth. The kind fairies heard and soon understood that to let the princess sleep alone wasn't very good. They said magic words and cast a spell, and the entire kingdom fell asleep as well. 100 years later, the kingdom was still asleep. Nobody came to visit. The bushes had grown deep. The garden remained empty. A silence filled the air. The only sound that could be heard was snoring here and there. One day a curious prince came by and saw the castle ground. He got off of his horse and was amazed at what he found. He walked among the people who all slept beneath his feet, when suddenly he saw a face so gentle and so sweet. It was the princess sleeping there. He looked at her and thought, how would he wake her from the spell in which she had been caught?
Where is the prince?
Great going!
Where is the princess?
Right!
Extraordinary!
The prince was very brave and got down on one knee. He kissed the princess on her cheek as gently as could be. She smiled a great big smile and opened eyes of blue, and everybody else around the kingdom woke up too. A few months later, in the royal wedding hall, the prince and the princess held a grand ball. They danced in the garden by the lake, and this time everyone stayed awake. They lived happily ever after from that day, in a land over the hills and far away. The end.